It's nice to hear that Americans are getting some credit. I feel like we have a bad rap and everything.
You were a singer.
I was signed with Jamie Foxx. I had to leave LA to kind of make it, right?
Do you still resonate when people say you're an LA girl?
It was such a culture shock for me. Dubai was just not ready for that. I moved here for love. I didn't want to be dependent on my husband.
And I met you before you started becoming a housewife of Dubai.
For sure, season 3.
But sometimes that can be a bit too much.
And I would have these like fake interviews sitting on the toilet.
Potentially, that's the good podcast setting.
You heard it here first. I'll see you in my bathroom.
Today's episode is extra special for me because I have one of my closest friends in Dubai, Taleen Marie, about to walk in. She's famous for the Housewives of Dubai, but I actually met her before she was on the show. And she was actually quite a huge hit back in LA. And I'm really curious to understand how her identity unraveled when she moved from LA to Dubai. This is really special for me.
Me too.
I know. It's just like, I know, it's because I know so much about you and then I also don't know much about you.
Yeah. I feel the same about you, actually. Like I learn something new every time I hang out with you. So this is good.
Yeah. So now I get to ask you actual questions.
I know.
That maybe others don't know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like I said, I know things that you might not know and vice versa.
Yeah.
You are coming in from LA.
Yeah.
Do you still resonate when people say you're an LA girl?
That's a great question. Yes. Yeah, I think so. The only reason I paused is because when I went back to LA, it's changed so much from when I was living there, which I guess most people don't know how much it's changed unless they're from there or they've lived there or been there. But yeah, I think so. I mean, from when I lived there, I'm from the East Coast. I'm more of an East Coaster, but I lived in LA for 8 years. And I would say like my heart will always be with the old LA, the LA I lived in.
Okay. And you came into Dubai.
I'm wearing an LA shirt for
God's sake. There you go.
Sake.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how much resonation do we need? Like,
I should have taken that cue.
It's a sign.
It was like right there. My notes were right there.
I wear it on my forehead.
Ask her about LA.
I just realized that actually.
So there you go. You're an LA girl by heart.
Yeah.
It's always difficult coming in from obviously another country. A lot of us wanting to move into Dubai.
Yeah.
You moved 2014?
2014, yeah. Officially.
Mm-hmm. And you were very popular back in LA.
Yeah.
You were quite a big thing.
Yeah. I mean.
Big thing.
Yeah.
You were a singer.
I had my routines and I was signed and.
With who?
With Jamie Foxx. Yeah, I was signed, and he had his own label called Fox King, which was off of Bug Music, which was under the umbrella of Universal Music.
Yeah.
So I was touring and songwriting, singing, doing the whole showbiz thing.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a change to come here.
How did you feel? Because you shifted identities, right?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had to start from scratch? Because I see a lot of people now coming in from their home countries, or where they were kind of raised or whatnot. And they're trying to establish themselves here thinking that they can live that same personality and persona that they have back home. Mm-hmm. And they're not able to do that in Dubai.
I think it's kind of a perspective and mind frame, and you have to pivot a little bit. Of course, when I moved here, I didn't assume that it would just be the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Dubai is not LA, especially the Dubai I moved to in 2014. Yeah. It's not what it is today.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, the first year was challenging. Of course, I knew it wasn't going to be the same, but it was such a culture shock for me. And I really didn't expect to go from, music being everywhere. I mean, you go to LA and every barista, every waitress, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is in the industry, right? Yeah. And then coming here, it was like, okay, wow. But once I kind of shifted my mindset and my perspective, and we all evolve, right? Mm-hmm. So as humans, we adapt. You have to adapt. It started to get much easier, and I moved here because of my husband, right? I moved here for love. So he didn't want me to resent him or anything, and he was like continue the music, do what you want to do. Like,
Yeah.
but of course, like it's
Different.
It's different, right? And if you go into any situation, I think knowing that, okay, you have to make some changes, that's what I did.
And when you said mindset shift, what did you have to change?
Well, I realized, okay, and I think I was ready to kind of settle down a little bit more. I wasn't interested in touring anymore and living out of a suitcase and, you know, hours of practicing and, 10, 12 hours of sessions in the recording studio. So I was like, okay, I love entertainment, of course, but I also love fitness.
Yeah.
And that's such a passion of mine that I've always grown up with. And a lot of people don't know this. So I saw a space for that in the market here. And I was like, what can I do that is going to make me happy? Most importantly, that's passionate. That's my passion, right? Because it has to be true to who I am. And also, make money. I didn't want to be dependent on Rafi, on my husband. So that was the shift that I kind of had to
Figure out. Yeah.
And it was the best thing I could have done.
Coming in.
Yeah.
And then through that, you became a mum to the most gorgeous 2 little girls. Oh my God, I love them.
They love you. Yeah, I always tell you this. Every time you leave my house, they say, Mommy, she's so pretty. And they're like, is Robyn coming? Is the pretty one coming?
Oh my God, they're so sweet.
They are, yeah. They're my I always say they are my greatest song that I've ever written. They are my greatest creation.
Oh my God, they're absolutely gorgeous. Like I know not many people get to know your kids obviously on the level that I do, and they're just absolute dolls.
Thank you, Robyn.
And
I think so too.
Yeah.
But I'm their mom.
You're biased, but this is the truth.
Yeah.
The biased truth.
Thank you.
They obviously, when they came along to it, I know that you speak about your struggles with pregnancy.
Yeah.
And we were saying that sometimes you don't learn things about people unless you hear them say it to someone else. And I heard you say that on Baby Malik podcast, right?
Yeah, a while back.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God,
I had no idea.
I had no idea. You had 3 miscarriages and you went through that reverse, what was it called?
The C-section, emergency C-section.
Yeah, it was something. Anyway, I can't remember. It'll come to mind. But you went through a really, really tough time, and you already were shifting from being huge in LA, coming to Dubai, and then people would think that transitioning into a mum was meant to be smooth, right? But that wasn't smooth for you as well.
No,
and you probably would have gone through a lot because there's a lot of people coming out here for families, and with families, and they're trying to establish themselves as mums, but also do something for themselves and not be dependent.
Right.
So when you went through all of that as well. At what point were you like, I really need to start doing more for myself? Or were you like, okay, I know that right now I'm okay with being a mom?
Yeah. It definitely was not easy. I'll tell you that much. And, I think a lot of people, it happens a lot, miscarriages and fertility issues. And I think a lot of people now are talking about it more and more. But I think especially like in our culture and like the Middle Eastern Armenian culture, it's like you're supposed to, first comes marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage, right? And you get this pressure from your family, and which I never got from either side. Now I'm getting it because they really want me to make a freaking boy.
Are they still going? I thought that stopped.
No, it's starting again.
Oh God.
But, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll get there. I digress. So the reason I bring that up is I had a really good support system. And I think anybody who's going through anything like that, the key is to just have that support, in no way did my husband ever make me feel less of a person, even though I did feel like that. I mean, it's very normal to feel like that. Never what's wrong with you? And there was no blame game, it's like we were both kind of going through it together, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I was very lucky in that. But I think I had gotten to like my 3rd or 4th miscarriage, and I was just like, okay, this is not in the cards for me. And the trouble was, I wasn't having issues getting pregnant, right? It was just keeping the pregnancy. And I did every test under the sun. And I was kind of praying that the doctor would be like, okay, you have a vitamin deficiency. If you take this, 1 + 1 will equal 2, right?
Yeah.
But everything was fine. on my side and on his side. And I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, my body has never failed me. I've been in fitness. I've been an athlete. Like, this is just, why is this not happening? And then, of course, hindsight, right? You always, you realize everything has a
It's
time
path,
and a
yeah.
place and its path. But you can only realize it, after in the aftermath. So I just kind of let go of the idea that I was going to be a mom. And I think, and a lot of people say this, like, you just kind of have to surrender. And once you surrender, it will happen. But also, like, you got to know when you're ovulating. And
Yeah.
you have to know, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just surrender because, like, you got to pee on a pee stick that's going to put a smiley face, right? But I really, we decided, we said, you know what? We're going to go to Armenia,
Yeah.
our motherland. We just, I didn't even know what day of the week it was, let alone if I was ovulating or not. And I don't want to say gave up, but it just wasn't the forefront of our lives anymore, and I was okay with that. And he was okay with that. And 9 months later, my firstborn came along.
Gigi.
And it was, I want to say the happiest moment of my life, but it wasn't, because I had terrible postpartum depression and anxiety. And then I felt guilty. And I'm like, my God, I went through all this struggle and this for to feel like this, which, and it's another thing women don't talk about. They don't talk about, because it's supposed to be like the movies and
you give birth smiling. And
and of course it grew into that. But I think people don't realize, like, not only are you meeting a baby for the first time that you don't know, you're meeting yourself for the first time as someone that you've never been. It's a new identity that you're taking on.
Completely.
Yeah. And for me, that's I leaned into fitness more and more, and my, what I had identified myself with, which was music, which was fitness, so that was kind of the therapeutic part for me. Because you don't recognize yourself anymore, and you're
like
learning a part of yourself. That's in every woman, by the way. It's just
innate.
It just takes time for some. For me, it did.
I mean, yeah, like, you're right. You just like keep adding these different kind of layers.
Yeah.
And I feel like when it's like, obviously hoping to be a mom soon, we'd love to have a family.
Yeah.
But it's also, I don't know if it's the older you get, the more you think about that identity and who it is. And you say it comes naturally, right? You're made for this. You're a woman.
Yeah.
But we start to think about it functionally. I don't know. I'm starting to think about it more functionally than I am thinking about, oh, this is a beautiful family. Until you surrender, like you said, there's a moment where you let go.
100%.
But these layers around identity, and this is all before I met you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's going into a space. And I met you before you started becoming a housewife of Dubai, which we'll jump into.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people know you for that at the forefront now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I feel fine with that, because I was very myself, as you know, on camera, and very genuine. Of course, I have, many more accolades than just falling at a Beyonce concert. But it's okay, because I loved and love that part of, my career.
Turning into a housewife.
Yeah. Yeah.
What made you shift into that? Because obviously you're very natural behind camera. You love a camera.
Yeah, I do.
Very good at it.
Zoom in.
Very, very good at it. But what made you make that shift into going back into the public? Because that's not easy.
No, it's not. And it by no means it was an overnight decision. It was something that, we really had to think about. One, I was actually debating on being on the first season, but it was the first reality show that was coming out of Dubai. So I didn't know how that was going to be received, and, a lot of these reality shows, they're built on scandal and drama, and you just don't know how it's going to be perceived in this part of the world. So and it's funny, 10 years ago, I shot a pilot called Women of Dubai with E Channel.
Oh, did you?
So a lot of people don't know. Yeah. And it just never got picked up. The government put a stop to it. Dubai was just not ready for that, right? So that was kind of like, I was a little traumatized from that. So, I saw that the first season was well received. And the second season, one of my friends was on the first and she put my name forward. And look, I mean, I've been around the camera. I've been in the entertainment industry since I was 9 professionally.
Yeah.
It's funny. I always say it's like I had to leave LA to kind of make it, right? It kind of came full circle. It's funny because I think what's meant for you, will naturally kind of come to you. And that's kind of how I decided to do it because I said, you know what? And I'm a control freak. And when you do reality TV, none of it really is in your control, right? You don't know how they're going to edit you, how they're going to, you're wearing a mic. They could take one sound, they could put it here, put it there, twist it, and you don't even recognize that person on TV, but that's how the world knows you. But I was willing to take that chance. And I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I'm so happy I did it. I would have regretted so much, the latter.
You did so good on it because
Thank
a lot of
you.
people don't know you as well and off camera.
Yeah.
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 So when you had a fan, and we actually had one of the employees that worked here was obsessed with you. He's like, how do you know her? So that's always nice to know that I'm like, she is actually who she is.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that you were able to create that. And every time I talk about someone doing personal branding, I always like push them saying, visibility is opportunity, put yourself out there. But sometimes that can be a bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it emotionally taxing?
I think, look, a lot of the reason why we decided to do it was that visibility. If you can leverage a platform like that, which is a huge global platform, then that can help push any brand. You look at somebody like Bethany Frankel, for example. She was on Real Housewives of New York. I mean, she sold her company for $1 billion. She went public. If you can utilize that in a way where you're not just getting your 10 minutes of fame and being stupid on camera, I think it's really smart. But of course, there's the flip side of that, right? I think it helps that we're in Dubai. It's much bigger in the States. I think Dubai bling is a lot bigger here.
Yeah.
But when I'm in the States, I'm a lot more recognized. My husband's a lot more recognized. And I like that. I like that, like, we can kind of come back to Dubai and have sort of our privacy.
Okay.
And it's not so, overbearing.
So that's what I was saying about a lot of people are bigger in their home countries.
Yeah.
I'm actually reverse. If I went back home, I'm a nobody.
Well, that's nice too, though. Yeah. You just go back to your bed that you grew up in. And
I was like, no one here knows me.
Back to basics. Yeah.
So I always find it difficult to kind of like see people shift and stay, but it's so nice that you're saying that that's what's nice about it, that you kind of get to come back home and it's
for sure.
It's Dubai and it feels more safe.
For sure. And I don't even think I would have put my kids, it would have been a much harder decision to have put my kids through it had we been a U.S., had we been filming in the U.S.
And living as well,
and living in the U.S., like we're so blessed to be living in the safest and cleanest country in the world. And that was something that was very important for Raph and I. And my kids were even younger when we were filming.
I remember.
They were tiny. When I look at, oh my gosh, she was just a baby. And when I look at the footage, they've just grown so much. But it's so funny because they remembered and they loved it. And they were like, "Mommy, when are we filming again? When are we?" And I'm just like, "Oh my God, what have I created?"
I remember I get it. I got my 2 seconds of fame on your on your,
yeah,
on
you were on it too. You were on it you were on the finale.
The finale and the house
and the house party.
The house party.
Yeah. And I think you were at one of the other ones, but the scene got cut. The mother's
Probably.
Yeah, no, not because of you. It was just
because it's being aired in Australia now.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But there was one of the housewives, I don't know if I ever told you this. So one of the housewives had called me to brand them and she got into a panic because she's like, I'm going to be on season 2. Well, I am on season 2.
This was in Australia?
No, here.
Oh.
On season 2. On season 2. She was in season 1. She's like, I want to be personally branded. I need to do a business. I need to do something. I need to leverage. She went into a panic and she opened up something super random.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel the pressures of needing and wanting to do that?
Yes and no. I didn't want to just open something to open something. I can see how there is pressure because you kind of want to carpe diem, right? You want to take advantage of the buzz and the visibility. But and this is sometimes to my detriment, and we've had these conversations. I can't put my name behind something that I'm not 100% sure of, proud of, and that I can say is not authentically who I am. But I can understand the pressure, but I would literally rather have nothing than just something
for the sake of it.
For the sake of it, right? And sometimes that, again, it's my detriment because I am an overthinker, and I do think that some people who just I don't want to say don't think, but they take the risk and they just put it out there.
Yeah.
And then they can kind of shift as it's out there is better than the person who just is trying to perfect it and be the perfectionist.
That sits in ideation a lot.
Yeah, right. It's in the execution.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm working through. And you're so great at that because while you talk about the importance of perfecting a brand, you also talk about the execution, right?
Yeah. So you need to get it out there.
Have to. And that's something I'm working on for sure. It's also not easy, being a mom and juggling everything at the same time, but I can understand, wanting to take advantage of that opportunity. And I kind of wish I had, but I wasn't ready in that moment. So maybe, for sure, season 3.
Is it coming out? Everyone keeps asking me that. I'm just like I'm meant to have the answer.
If I had a definite answer, I would tell you. Okay. Like now would be the time and place to tell you, I promise. But there is no definite answer. We're not canceled, which is great.
Okay.
Because there have, you had Real Housewives of DC, Real Housewives of Dallas. Those two were, dead in the water. They were officially canceled. Chanel Ion, she's one of my really good friends. She's one of my castmates. She was just at BravoCon, and they're getting some buzz as well about the show. So it's just very expensive to film here.
Okay.
So I think they're kind of sorting things out on that front, and also some casting issues. They want to, shift some things, but if and when there's a season 3, you will
be the first to know.
Me there, and you will be the first to know.
And I'll make an appearance, everyone.
Please. Please. Maybe you could be one of
no. No, you're just so good at that. No, really. I rarely know anyone that's good at performing but also staying real. I think that's a lot of the struggles actually a lot of people have when they're producing content for their own brands.
Yeah.
Like you're able to perform and look really authentic.
Right.
I don't think that, like, for me, it's just that they're miles apart. It's very difficult.
I'll be honest. It is difficult. Like there were some women who were trying to be, one of the housewives because you have like friends of and housewives. And even though I had gotten the contract, I could have been, once they saw me on camera, you can be demoted to being a friend of. So it's not a sure bet, right? Because they don't really know. I know. You're downgraded to just being a friend, not a housewife.
So everyone that's a friend of has been demoted technically.
Well, no, some people it's a choice, right? Because they don't want to sign up for the whole, the whole thing because it's a huge commitment, right? When you're the friend of, you don't have to do all the confessionals, you don't have to travel as much, this and that. So I understand, but there were some women that were great on paper. They fit the bill, beautiful, this, that. But then as soon as the camera comes, they're just a deer in the headlights. So for me, I would literally just forget that, for better or for worse, I would forget that the cameras were there or that I was mic'd.
Amazing.
And you're filming sometimes. They would film in our house sometimes like for 8 hours. And you just kind of, and I know people think that's so weird, but you do forget that there's a crew right in front of you. And Raf was good at that too. We would just really
You guys are so good at that.
Forget.
Yeah. So that's also, you think that was a skill that you learned from singing at 9?
Maybe. I think maybe it's just always kind of come natural to me, and maybe I just had that. I do think as we were filming over time, it got stronger.
Okay.
For sure.
You just kind of got used to it.
Yeah. Like anything, you get used to it.
But also Americans are really good at performing. And we say that a lot in the corporate world, like when we're always benchmarking really good speakers, they're either benchmarking.
Really?
Yeah, Americans.
You would say Americans.
They're well-spoken.
Yeah.
They say their words fully. They pronounce that fully. They're also very entertaining on stage. So when you're looking at like the pinnacle of speakers, especially in corporates, it's Americans.
Wow.
Brits are there too, I think, because they're very clear in what they say.
Yeah.
But in terms of performance, it's Americans. So when I look and I study, I'm like, okay, I needed to level up my performance. Like the Middle East in general, we're not performers. Like by nature, you're not. The way that they talk is not performing to a crowd at a young age. Either is Australia.
Right.
And we talk very fast in Australia.
Yeah.
I actually had to slow down my words. Like if I had an Australian friend next to me at yours, you wouldn't understand me.
Sometimes I don't. I tell you this. I'm like, Robyn, like I need subtitles because you've gotten better, or my hearing. But to be fair, my hearing is terrible. But sometimes I'm just like, come again?
Yeah, sometimes I get too comfortable. So now, let's say when I talk, I make sure that I'm clear.
Yeah.
But Americans are very good at that. So I'm trying like, what do they do different? And every time I kind of research and look into this, I'm like, they were doing it since they were kids.
Right.
They're on stage doing like spelling bees and I don't know if these are like the movie stuff.
Yeah, it's true. Plays and all that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think with anything, it's good to start at a young age. Like that definitely helped me for sure. But it's nice to hear that Americans are getting some credit. I feel like we have a bad rap in everything we do. So that's nice.
No, yeah, it's so good. So when I see you with Gigi and Sienna and they're dancing, I'm just like, yes.
Oh my God, I know. It's ingrained in them. God knows what that's going to turn into in 10 years.
I think the confidence is great.
Yeah.
I think it translates into confidence and into everything they do, not just necessarily performing in front of the camera.
No, totally. At the end of the day, it's confidence. I mean, I don't know if my daughter will be a professional ballet dancer, but it gives her that confidence and being able to stand up in front of people. And I think it's important. My parents did it with me at a very, very young age. And I can say that's helped me throughout my entire life.
Because a lot of people now, they ask how to be more confident.
Yeah.
They want to get trained on confidence. And so I ask the question to people, I'm like, is that something you were born with or do you think you can teach it?
I think both. I think some people are born with it, but it is a skill that needs practice. Practice. I mean, that's because people have asked me, they're like, what helps you with speaking in front of crowds or, interviews or I've been around it and I've been experienced, but it's practice. I mean, sometimes like I'm psycho, like I'll be like sitting on the toilet and I remember even younger and I would have these like fake interviews with myself.
Oh, really?
I'm not joking.
That's the trick.
Exactly. All of Dubai, sit on the John and it sounds crazy and maybe you don't have to be on the toilet, but like you could just be looking in the mirror or filming yourself. Practice makes perfect because you become more experienced. And it's also, as cheesy as it sounds, just pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. I mean, a lot of people don't know this. I think you do. I'm sure you do. But like I grew up with debilitating childhood anxiety and social anxiety. Debilitating.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, debilitating. I couldn't go to sleepovers. I couldn't do it. It was affecting my life, right? And it was only pushing myself out of that comfort slowly that really helped me with my growth.
Right. And when you say put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, for others that could be sitting in a quiet space like the toilet and just rehearsing out loud.
Yeah. Well, that's the easy part for me, right? It's just you and yourself.
Do you still do it?
I haven't done it in a really long time, but maybe I will tomorrow. Maybe I will after this. No. You know what? You know what it is? I don't actually verbally speak out, but I think about, and it's not like I rehearse, like nothing comes rehearsed, but I think for me, the hardest part, I used to hate speaking about myself. When people are like, who are you, Taleen?
Yeah.
Like that was I hated that question because it's like,
I wish I knew. I should have opened up
I
with
know,
that.
Jesus. No, but now I could confidently tell you exactly who I am. And I think that comes from, it's learning. We all have to learn ourselves, and that the relationship with yourself is obviously one that is very important, but it's being able to explain who you are. And that's come through practice.
Yeah. And
you know what I'm saying?
And it's also not easy because you keep evolving.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The introduction is actually the hardest bit for everyone. So
totally.
If I'm ever doing branding exercises with everyone, that's the first thing I start on. I go, introduce yourself. And most people, they'll default to their name and their job title.
Yeah.
Because they're actually not sure how to explain themselves because they're also confused with
It's hard. It's like,
hard.
I'm a Libra. I like long walks on the beach. Like I'm on a TV
I'm
show.
a fur
like,
mummy.
Yeah, it's I think that is one of the most difficult questions ever. And if anyone can really master getting that right, you'll get like really far in life. I really do believe that. So start in the bathroom and then end in the shower. I don't know.
Is that your
No, I don't know. I'm just I don't know where I'm going with that, but that's who I am. I do interviews on the toilet. That's who I am.
Potentially, that's the good podcast setting.
I know. Oh my God, I love that. It actually made, and growing up, I always loved going into restaurants, and I always had this dream, and I still might do it, who knows, of making a coffee table of all the most gorgeous bathrooms around the world in restaurants.
You can now, and
I should.
You're in your home.
I know. And I would literally go into all these bathrooms and I would rate them from 1, to 10. And really. And it's funny because, I was doing interviews in those bathrooms.
Maybe it's symbolic. That's it. I'm going to see all these ceramic toilets.
Yeah.
Raf's going to be like, what's going on?
What is happening? Right. We can always talk in my bathroom anytime you want.
Oh, Taleen, that would have been, you've come so far. I don't know if you tell yourself that, but you've come a long way. I see all the work you do in building a lot of things, especially Elevate.
Yeah.
I know you've been pushed. No one sees behind the scenes, right?
No, they never do.
I'm sure I see a bit, obviously,
yeah,
because of how close we are, but I'm sure you girls put in a lot of work into that.
We do.
Is the fitness space the area you want to be entering in next?
It is. And it's something that it's not just fitness. It's kind of, and I think fitness right now is kind of shifting into more of a longevity, wellness kind of movement. It's like, I always tell people like, we broke our backs in our 20s and now our 30s and 40s, we're trying to have a great workout, but not,
keep our knees,
that wear and tear on our bodies. Yeah. And also, have that recovery. Like I always say, recovery is just as important, if not more important than the actual workout. So my sister and I with Elevate, we really are focusing on not just the workout, but also the lifestyle and the community. And I know people I even hate saying that because I know people throw out those words so much, community, lifestyle.
Yeah.
But it's really important to build that first. There's so many people that, okay, they have this great idea and then they open up the doors and they're just like, they cut the ribbon and nobody's there. And it's like, there's so much you have to do before you get to the point of opening something, creating that buzz, creating, I think Salt, they did a great job with that. Salt Burger. I know, very, very different from fitness, but
no, it's
it was creating that community and that fan base before they even sold one freaking meat patty. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the crux of it for us right now. That's what we're trying to do. whilst keeping everything, with a low cost because we're investing our own money and time into this. But yeah, fitness, wellness, the whole lifestyle around it, the 360 approach, that's something we've always wanted to do.
That's the next direction.
Yeah.
So what is next for Taleen?
Elevate.
It is.
And yeah, I mean, I want to see where that takes me. I love working with my sister where she has her strengths. I have more of my weaknesses and vice versa.
Mhm.
We really complement each other nicely. Although it has its challenges working with family. We've always, for the last 15, 20 years, have wanted to work on something together. And this is the perfect blend and the perfect brand
To do it.
to do it. So I don't know where it's going to lead, but I know it's going to lead somewhere great.
Amazing. It's going to lead somewhere amazing. And you and Laurie have such great harmony.
Thank you.
It's really
For the
nice
most
to see.
part. We're sisters at
even
the end
the
of the
not-most
day.
part is still nice harmony.
She's my best friend. She's my rock.
Yeah.
She's my ride or
She's
die.
amazing.
She's really like
She's
my
solid.
my right hand.
And she's
solid.
funny, man. Laurie's funny. She's funny.
She taught me any of the humor that I know, and she always reminds me of it.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. She's like, I taught you well, kid. You got your best material from me. I'm like, okay.
No, you sounded like your
I know.
your
What was that?
I don't know. It was like a mixed. But see, performance. But that's what it is, right? It's so good.
I do voices. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I have one last question for you, Tal.
Please. Anything.
If I was to remove all of the labels that you were ever given, singer, housewife of Dubai, everything, who is Taleen?
A Libra. No. That's a label.
Woman that sits on the toilet.
It can exactly. Is it a one-word answer or can I?
No, whatever you want.
I am deeply emotional. I am extremely loyal. I think family is probably the most important thing in the world. I would literally do anything for my family, and I would trade anything for the better of my family. So I'd like to think I'm someone who was raised well with good values, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
It's because
because I think everything I'm saying are labels.
We're conditioned to label ourselves.
Who are you?
I'm just a girl named Robyn. And so when I went through my own rebranding, are you learning something about me? When I went through my whole identity shift during that period, I was like, I'm just a girl named Robyn trying to figure it out. And that's when my name changed.
Can I steal that one?
Just a woman called Tal.
I think we're all trying to figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think, and you never really figure it out,
it doesn't
right?
stop.
It doesn't stop. We're all kind of on our journey, but I know my non-negotiables is what I'm saying, and I have integrity and loyalty, and I am a good friend. But again, I get it. Those are all labels.
Difficult.
It's difficult.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
After someone spent time with you, what do you want them to feel?
Energized, empowered. Yeah. Light.
Amazing. There you go. So that's part of it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'll see you in my bathroom.
I love you.
I love you too. You know what I'll do? I'll get two toilets just facing each other.
No, like
Or
seriously.
they have those that are like this. You're on one.
Someone's going to steal that podcast idea.
I know.
No,
Jesus.
seriously.
Well, you heard it here first. You heard
Publish
it here
quick.
first.
Thank you so much, hon, honestly.
Robyn, thank you so much for having me.
This was so nice.
So nice, so fun, and long overdue. Thank you.
Agree. Thank you. And you look phenomenal. Can we just talk about your outfit?
Look who's talking. Thank you so much.
Thank you, hon. I love my Taleen, and I'm sure you do too. For more, be sure to follow us on our socials on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. See you next time.